So today we're starting off with a little bit of new business, and then we're going to work up on drafting a new issue docket to go over. So far on our one project that's currently underway, we're forming a subset team, project team to tackle this. It's going to be headed up by Jonathan and Jackson. There are several people that they've already got in mind to recruit, and it's totally open. So no barriers to entry. If it's something that you want to work on, either creatively, business-wise, or drafting up the language of the policy solution, then that's great, and talk to them. Yeah, the goal of that is drafting up something that's going to be final that we can point to as a tangible project, basically a prototype of what the TCC can do. Next, update on crowdfunding. We are meeting in a team room in the business building at 9:30 on, it said Thursday, but I erased it and put business building. So it's not in two locations, it's on Thursday. Thursday at 9:30 a.m. If you guys want to come, what we're gonna be doing is, I realize that the actual drafting of it, it's very like a one-time sort of thing. So I feel like we want to get several people together to come up with an articulation of our purpose, why we want this money and what we would do with it. That'll also include coming up with a fundraising goal. We're going to include certain incorporation fees, paperwork fees, but in addition to that, come up with some ideas that we would spend this money on and how much that would cost. Next on that, it's going to require some slight design work. We don't even have power to change the layout of the page, but we're going to need some high-res photos that are very impressive, professional looking, as well as some a logo. We might just contact our PR folks about that at the time. Caitlin?
Yeah, for the people that weren't here last week, could you explain what crowdfunding is and how we're incorporating it into the TCC?
So crowdfunding is a new sort of what they call microfinance, where you just express a project. There are certain types where you exchange equity or rewards, but that would be if we were actually starting a business. This would be more donation based. So we just express our project, show some pictures, maybe a video, and on that alone, people decide whether or not they want to invest in it as an idea that they would just like to see out in the world. It's pretty simple, and it's something that we think would benefit us a lot, so we're going to try to pursue that. But I encourage whoever is interested to meet up with me just right after class, and we can meet in Haslam at 9:30. So next, blogging. We are going to be starting Meg has already launched her blog. Do you want to say something on that since you launched it today?
Yeah, so I guess the idea is that I'm starting a blog, and is it Sean?
Oh yeah, Sean is going to
Okay.
be your counterpart.
Okay, so we're both launching blogs, and we're both going to kind of be like caricatures, I guess, of ourselves. And so I'm kind of far right, and he's going to be kind of far left, and we're going to just kind of initiate this conversation and hopefully get people to contribute and kind of discuss. And then I guess the TCC as a third party will come in and kind of say, hey, here's some solutions to what you guys are talking about.
It's going to be sort of pointing to like, geez, I sure wish that there was a solution to these problems that we're discussing, and sort of embodying young people discussing problems, young people getting together and solving problems. That's going to tie back in with the crowdfunding as sort of starting the conversation, the seeds of it, so to speak, and then really putting it out there for people to invest with their time, money, energy, what have you. Is there any questions about participation in any of those activities?
Should we come in as a third party and like comment on the blogs and stimulate conversation with
Yes.
Yes.
If you have a Twitter account, it's going to be on Blogger and Tumblr, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So if you have a Twitter account, go on there and just comment. Really just sort of what we're trying to do is just generate activity. You know how those things work. Like substance, not to say that substance doesn't matter, but the thing that comes up on the internet when you're searching for anything is what's clicked on the most, what has the most comments. So log on, and we'll send this out in an email that's really easily like hyperlinked to, so you can just go straight to it and write a few words.
we'll kind of come up with some PR strategies just to be able to increase exposure to the blogs, and everyone will have their part in like generating buzz and generating talk about it. So that'll come whenever it's time to do that.
And just as like a disclaimer, we've kind of been like encouraged to be pretty extreme. So whatever we're writing on there might not be our actual.
That reminds me of
opinions.
something that I heard about. It's a website created by someone whose name I couldn't possibly conjure up, but it's called Political Screaming Match, and it asks you like very polarizing questions like, do you like universal health care or not? And you just answer that question yes or no with your phone number, and it's going to hook you up with someone who answered the opposite of that.
Oh my gosh.
And the whole idea is that what we see on TV are political screaming matches, and it tries to make you think that's the way it always is. But take a polarizing issue and people who disagree, like I'm this way, I'm the other way, and what usually happens are very fruitful, socially cohesive conversations. So on that note, let's move on to drafting up a docket. What we're going to do is split up into 3 groups, and we're all going to be like miniature versions of ourselves as a large group, and come up with a docket, 5 ideas, best 5, and then we're going to get up and present while everyone else will critique, pro, con, and then that way we'll come up with a more refined list of ideas that we can act on. And we're going to let those sort of sit for a while, and then we'll vote on them next week with maybe a few more additions.
Okay, so our first point was increasing timeliness and efficiency of campus transit. And I'll let whoever came up with this talk about it.
This includes, I realize this is a very far stretch, but potentially more buses, more efficient, eco-friendly buses, and the biggest thing of that was having live tracking, which can be like screens in academic buildings that show where buses are on campus at all times, to provide you like a live track of where the buses are, so you have to less waiting and more
knowing where they are.
awareness.
Basically, the idea came from, I was talking to a CAT driver not too long ago, like a late night tea, and they're switching over to like the more eco-friendly buses, I guess kind of buses, and they have been switching over to him. I think he told me they have 5 now, but they still have the current ones running as well. They're trying to switch those out, but it's like a really slow process. He said they've been trying to do this for a while, and they've gotten approval for it, but it's just he said it's just oddly slow. That's why it's going that far. So apparently UT has the approval to be switching out to this, like the eco-friendly ones, or they use less fuel. Yet for some reason it's taking a long time, and I'm interested in finding out, 1, like why, and 2, like if we have that ability, like, it should be good to exploit it at some point in time. And the other thing we were talking about was with the live tracking on the buses. Apparently, the University of Alabama already uses this and already has this, so the technology is there. It can be implemented fairly easily, especially in new buildings, like Haslam Business Building that already has all the screens and stuff going on. What would be needed is, live trackers on the bus, which are probably not that expensive. I mean, I wouldn't imagine it would be. It's just live GPS trackers. As well as we were talking about if something like this could be implemented and should be implemented, but if it was, possibly creating, simple things like apps, like iPhone apps, stuff like that, to put on your phone, just like if you're in the middle of class, you have 5 minutes up to class, you want to know where the bus is, the bus is 10 minutes away, perfect, you're just in time to do that. And that, I know, will cause a lot of less frustration, because one of my biggest pet peeves is going to the bus stop and waiting 20 minutes for the bus to get there because it just left 10 seconds before you got there, yet you don't know. So the bus just left, and I feel like it would just cause a lot less headaches in that.
Do you guys know if there's any at all integration between the T and Knoxville busing?
Yeah, I don't think there is, because it's with campus transit, it's just free to all students. Then with the city, it's you got to obviously pay like anywhere else.
Um,
That's covered.
Adam,
Hmm.
it's, to my knowledge, it's largely Knoxville City Council that does the bus system,
Okay.
and then we've pulled it into our own. I don't know about the individual small T-Link shuttles, where that falls in, but I know of the larger buses, those are still CAT buses.
Okay.
Yeah.
The problem
I
with
know it's
the-
still operated by CAT.
Yeah, the problem with the express buses were, while that was a huge issue for a while, was because they went ahead and decided to go ahead and move buses away and do that stuff, and UT had no vote in it. And actually, in the city council meeting, they voted and then they had a discussion. So the point was mute that UT brought up.
Okay.
And actually, they do already have, they have GPS in the buses already.
The implementation wouldn't be.
Yeah.
And the next one was Sean's idea, was the encourage carpooling.
Oh yeah, just like maybe create some kind of like campus initiative to encourage people to like carpool to campus and carpool away, so as to reduce like both pollution from driving around and also just congestion on campus and parking stuff. And I was thinking like some kind of maybe like reward or like competition for who can like get the most of their neighbors to like pile in cars and drive to campus. And
Would it be better to encourage like riding a bike?
well, I couldn't ride a bike to campus though, because there's no.
Not for
Like,
my-
Yeah, people who live in like the retreat. Yeah, yeah.
What about like a carpool lane?
They're taking away lanes, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the third idea was Ryan's.
Yeah, being able to submit your resume and cover letters and any other documents you'd like to submit to employers coming to job fairs. If you are unable to attend for any reason, like being out of town, sick, you got work, can't get off or something, just being able to submit your resume. Nothing can replace or nothing can be as good as physically being there. At least getting your resume to those employers while they're physically on campus.
What would the schematics of that be? Like you're getting them.
Probably, I would think an easy way to do it would be just to submit it probably like on HireVol, like creating a division of HireVol where you can submit it to the career services.
Like it would be in cloud form, is what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so we talked for a couple minutes and we were kind of bouncing around ideas. We mentioned a couple that we had discussed last semester. We mentioned busing and transportation and that kind of thing. And then Jackson brought up again the environment, like clean air, clean water, kind of like pollution around rivers and that kind of thing, and what we could do about that. And then Zach brought up childhood obesity, and we talked about that for a little bit. But the main idea that we talked about for the majority of the time was this one. And the idea is that I was like walking around the fort on Sunday, and I was like, wow, there's just, football games are horrible for pollution and for litter and for all this stuff. And then when I think about Knoxville and I think about community problems, I think about homelessness and joblessness. And so I was thinking, well, what if we combine the two to fix two problems at the same time? So what we came up with was the Fort Sanders Landlord and Resident Association, potentially. And the idea is that you, from this group, you recruit people like, okay, so over on, you recruit like at meeting points, if you will. So over on, was it Broadway, right, we said? Yeah, Broadway, right under that bridge, right like next to that big paint thing with the colors coming down. It's like homeless central. I think it's because there's like a soup kitchen or something. I'm not sure what it, yeah. Okay, well, if we could go over there with a sign-up sheet that said, hey, on Sunday afternoon after the Florida game for 5 hours, we're going to clean up the southwest quadrant of the fort and just, pick up all the litter and try and improve it. And pay them like a good rate, maybe like, $8 an hour, $10 an hour, something like that. But the funds would come from this,
which is a totally voluntary organization that we could talk to the local landlords within the fort and residents, and by residents, sometimes that means parents of residents, to contribute, $5, $1, whatever, to building sort of capital that you can use to pay people who don't have a job or who are homeless to clean up litter and pollution. So you have sort of a very, very local community, meaning Fort Sanders, providing a way for itself to employ somebody and not only provide a job for them, not exactly a stable job, but a temporary job that is also benefiting the community quite literally, as in there's not as much trash on the ground. And we were thinking, does this go past football games? Because obviously football weekends would be when it's most intense. But yeah, it does, because Fort Sanders is always there's always trash in Fort Sanders. It's always after parties, after weekends. It's always lots of trash. And as Jackson brought up a good point, what was it, Jackson? I think it was as they're cracking down on partying and drinking on campus more. There was that article in the Daily Beacon about Frat Row. It's going to move to the fort, and so fort is going to be the fort's going to be more. There's going to be more litter. There's going to be more pollution. So this would just provide, say it was a Sunday afternoon or a Tuesday afternoon, or whatever. That would be more long term as far as employment's concerned for those who don't have a job. And this to sort of regulate, we were thinking, who's going to make sure that this happens? Who's going to make sure that a good job is being done? And that's where this comes back in, and you have landlords. So say there's 60 different landlords in the fort. If they all volunteer to take one Sunday afternoon, one Tuesday afternoon, one Thursday afternoon for 4 hours to oversee a group of maybe 10 homeless people to clean up an area, I think that could be a really, really beneficial program. So that's kind of what we talked about I think I got everything. Did I miss anything, guys?
Tell them what the name things were.
I did. Fort Sanders Landlord and Resident Association. So that's kind of our major, yeah.
I've noticed that if you drive on the Broadway, a lot of the homeless are in wheelchairs or around, or obviously.
But I wouldn't
disabled.
hinder them from cleaning up our
You
home.
don't think so?
No, I mean.
I think it would be difficult, but
They have those little grabby things.
they have the grabby things, and
It's
I think you just hold trash bags.
yeah, if nothing else, they can just hold trash bags.
There's always ways to help.
And we could, we can get more and more detailed with it, but, you could even get as detailed as you could have, assignments on to be more recycling friendly. You could have, 3 different people carrying trash bags. One bag is for plastic, one bag is for paper, etc. To make sure that we're then on top of cleaning up an area, we're recycling as well. So, any other questions? This is kind of the idea that we've come up with.
Yeah, I got 2 things. One, with the landlord, I think it's actually a really good idea, but the landlord thing, I know for sure that a lot of the landlords around here don't even live here. Especially my parents tried to buy an apartment complex up in Renaissance 4, and one guy is trying to buy the entire place out so he can rent it to people, and he lives in Florida.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff like that. But just to go off of that, I know, Mr. McKinney, if y'all know him in the geology department, and a lot of other people in the geology department, if you've ever taken a geology class, you have to do service hours or stuff like that in order to do better, help the environment and community and stuff like that. And I bet would be all over giving people service hours for doing stuff like this.
Yeah, there's that too.
Especially some of the other teachers in geology. I know there's at least 3 teachers in the geology department that do programs that you have to get a certain amount of service hours and et cetera. He would be all over this for sure, because he's all about, one of the things he was all about was the after game cleanup with the UT services. I did it twice, and you go around and collect all the trash out of all the temporary trash cans, and you sort it, recycle it, and all that jazz. So I bet he would be all over that. And my other thing was for the payment. I think that's also a really good idea, but I think it would probably be better if we did $30 a bag or something.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, that was just kind of
You have to think about too, though, is that we want this to actually, if we say $30 a bag and there's 20 people,
Yeah.
30 divided by 20, what's the point for them?
Yeah.
mean, yes, it's money, but they might actually get more money sitting and begging or
And
asking.
then you also reached something about like, should we give them money or food
Yeah.
stamps, or, because I mean, like,
Yes, it's-
with the money, there's no, like, you know, what are we really helping? Like, who knows what they're gonna go spend their money on?
Yeah, it could be better to set up like food, like if you come and volunteer, then like maybe somewhere they'd be set up just like.
People want
So
money.
they should.
No, I mean, this is a job. We're not gonna sit there and
It's not a
regulate what
charity.
they're gonna spend their money on.
Right, however they spend it, it's gonna help the economy. And to give you more like scientific, cost, side of it, people always around our neighborhood are waking us up because they're taking the aluminum cans out of the trash can and crashing, putting them in the bag.
Yeah.
So compare the average cost of what a giant bag full of cans, how much they get for that, and then maybe, go over it just like a little bit, and then the incentive would be to take all of that stuff, and, you know, then word would spread that, this is a better opportunity.
What's the name of that guy? The professor in the geology one? What?
McKinney, McKinney.
Okay. Well, I think, money. I agree with Adam, and Jackson brought up that point too. We are looking to get something done. We're looking to take care of this and give these people, what did you say, supplementary income? Yeah, supplementary income. This is like, you know, we want to take, I mean, for example, you could walk up to this meeting point, the soup kitchen or whatever, and you mentioned a hospital full of homeless people. But just say, we need 10 people, you know, you're going to get paid, this is an example, you're going to get paid $8 an hour, we're going to work for 5 hours, and we're going to pick up trash. And, you know, if they want to make some money, then they'll do it. If not, it's their loss.
It's also an easy way to find that type of precious metal that you
Yeah,
can
absolutely.
supplement. And you
They're
can
going to take it and recycle
Yeah,
it.
you can give them more than one bag and just say like, if you would like to keep whatever
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
find, like go for it.
Yeah, but that's what kind of we like about this is that this is not like bound by something. It's totally open because you're trying to get the max benefit to the workers and the max benefit to the community. So just getting this taken care of is max benefit to the community because it means that you're not opening your door and kicking trash out of the way. For them, you know, they could, like you're saying, they could collect cans to take to the recycling company. They are getting paid. You know, it could evolve. It has no real sort of cap on it. And it's driven by the community, hopefully. So, I mean, this is totally voluntary. I mean, for example, we said residents because, you know, I live in the fort and I would be extremely happy if my landlord maybe gave me a flyer or gave me, you know, a little pamphlet that said this is the FSLRA and we are, you know, it's a group that employs homeless people to pick up trash on the fort. Do you feel like doing that? I'd be like, yeah, I would love that. So I think there would be students or residents and landlords that would be very interested in keeping the area clean.
I think there's
That-
some students that volunteer.
Yeah, that too. I mean, that's another thing is
it's
that
something
they
to
can do,
keep
they
in
can go
mind.
so much further.
Yeah, that's something we could also incorporate with CARM too and get their help and their resources on
Carm?
Knoxville Area Rescue Ministries.
Okay.
Yeah, there's sort of people who are already working towards this, that'd be easy to just sort of like totally benefit from
Yeah.
somebody else's
Yeah.
resources, as you said.
I know some girl who knows the director of.
And then I like what you said.
interviewed him.
I like what you said about student service hours because that's perfect.
That's an awesome idea, guys. It's really well thought out and perfect.
Thanks for that.
We did.
Well, that's awesome. I'm really excited about that idea. So for ours, we came up with very similar issues. I think based on what I said before about it affecting a lot of people, that's what we're all thinking about. So we had in mind pollution and homelessness, that sort of thing. Local safety issues. By that we meant more so assault and battery cases in the Fort area, and there's it's such a complex issue to tackle, and so many different ways that you might try and solve it, are really just band-aid solutions. But in this sense, like unless we're going to attack the whole educational system and build our social welfare, which is what we're trying to do at all times, the best band-aid solutions are what we need. So we were thinking that maybe the extension of the blue safety lights into the fort just a little bit. Like who would vote no on a city council proposition to appropriate money to reduce the amount of crime and assault that goes on where a lot of our youth is living. For homelessness, we thought more so, that's an incredibly creative way to come at it. We thought more so at making it less rewarding, so to speak, to be homeless in Knoxville, but also better for you in the sense that it's better for you not to be homeless. So part of that, we like that because it was so wide open for different solutions in a proposal package style product. So part of that solution would be medical screenings, mental and physical health screenings that would go along with just sort of reaching out towards the homeless, finding out what their needs are, and helping those needs get met in the long run. Hopefully they won't be homeless anymore. For the environment, that's another one that's very wide open to everyone. Everyone experiences with it. We all know how dirty the Tennessee River is. It's green and it stinks and you can't get in it because you might get sick, which is horrible because it is like our major, it's the reason that this city was founded here and now it makes you sick. So I think that something working with water, air, Hannah brought up, is a really difficult thing to try and harness and clean. There are a lot of different initiatives that you could go through to do that, like maybe stopping your car at a stoplight or all sorts of things. But I think water is really the more applicable one that we could challenge. So on that note, what are our favorites that we would like to focus on and elaborate on to vote on next week?
And keep in mind that, this exercise is just to get you guys thinking about projects that are feasible and that could actually be implemented, and the projects that really fulfill what the TCC is about. So the creation of projects doesn't stop here. Feel free to submit any sort of project ideas to Adam or Mark, and with an explanation really, and they can be included on the docket vote next week. So
Yeah, like the sooner you have ideas, with just meeting once a week, if like we can be working on those things independently and then come together, we'll accomplish a lot more. So everybody liked the FSLRA idea, hand raising? Awesome. So that can be primary on our draft docket. What else? Just shout it out and we'll talk about it.
I like the transit one,
Okay.
timeless and efficiency, because that's one of the things I wish I could use more.
does the FSLRA cover the whole homelessness issue? Or
I think it's
kind of
just
confused?
specific just to that.
Yeah, it's specific to the
just-
board, yeah,
Okay.
to cleaning up.
But it's like a seminal idea, which is what's great about it. Carpooling, maybe this could be more of like an initiative that we would propose, something that needs to be advertised and just,
Yeah, the carpooling, I think.
Yeah,
That's kind of.
Well, we mentioned this, incorporating it into the Making UT Green
Yeah.
Yeah.
campaign that they have.
I will say though, the ad campus already has a carpooling thing existing,
okay.
so
Well, it's,
maybe
be
it's
like a
beyond that.
formula for us to go off of. Something I was thinking about when we were discussing, Christian, question?
Well, I would just say resumes could go next, or maybe above that, 'cause that's pretty,
Clean water needs to be on
yes, but timetables and feasibility, I think resumes
You
would
know
get
what
back
might be good for this is something that we can, sorry, I'm very funny. Brought into the fold of our Knoxine project.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought when I first heard it.
It seems
Yeah,
more of
yeah,
like a strategy
sure.
to an overall plan of increasing
You know, you already do put your resume on Hire a Hall.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Submit it
saying,
for
like if it's already on there, then.
But you can submit it for specific jobs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
can apply
yes,
for
yeah.
specific jobs.
Oh, yeah, I've done that.
That's a great idea. Such a good idea.
Okay, so something I thought of as we were presenting are the differences between a proposal, which is what we're explicitly here to go about producing and solving, and an initiative. So proposals are great. What I love about the FSLRA is it's both. But initiatives are also good. That would be something good to use fundraising, crowdfunding money on, is like advertising for problems.
I was just gonna say, the timeliness and efficiency of chemistry, the different details that we talked about, a lot of that has been worked on in different sectors. I believe Senate is working on getting GPS or bus locations out to students currently, and also I think they're working towards an app, but I believe that some administration aside of them are also working on it, so we could.
So maybe there
Keep
might
out
be like
of
some
that.
jurisdictional overlap and therefore delay, and maybe this would be a part of the plan could be streamlining it. Is that what you're saying? Or also building off?
I was just saying mostly that a lot of people are also working on this, and we could team up with them and try to
Oh yeah,
quickly get that.
cool. Okay, so next, clean water. Do we want to go with water focus?
Either that or the safety issues, the local safety issues, because
Okay, yeah, I'm
it's a
not,
pretty
I'm
big
not really
issue.
I
prioritizing
put
right
safety
now.
above water for now.
That's what we're gonna do next week when we vote.
Okay.
Yeah, first clean water.
Safety.
Again.
Do you guys like the idea of focusing on violence, violence prevention?
Yeah, just
Or do you think we can
violence and robbery and, like, we just got a notice today that there's been a heightened level of robbery in our area.
Okay.
In the fort?
Yeah, in
Like
the
where?
southwest corner,
Heightened level.
Where's that?
Crown Campus Point. It's
South?
like Forest and 22nd.
Somebody
Uh,
Yeah, like the sound of it.
Yeah, I didn't want to do this.
Okay, well, these are awesome ideas. I really like, it seems more refined and well thought out than what we had previously produced. I like the other way that we went about getting it, which I think was the reason that y'all came up with that idea, which is like so well formulated, I want to say again. So I know Meg has to get out of here and watch Peyton play at 8:30. That's what she told me anyways.
What?
Watch you, she's a huge Peyton fan.
I am a huge fan.
So, closing, if you guys are interested in working with Jackson, Jonathan, me, and Caitlin on,
And John.
and John, on Knox Inc. and crowdfunding respectively, then contact us, phone numbers, emails, face-to-face, what have you. And be thinking about
What day is that again?
Thursday.
Thursday at 9:30, it has the exact room to be announced.
Yes.
And be thinking about our docket draft. I hope all of you wrote those down with possible ideas on improvement and other ideas as well. Don't limit yourself. So we'll meet again at the same time and adjacent or same place.
I like this.
And we'll see you guys next week. Good job, everybody.